this is an ongoing series where I'm going to tell you about the EduCommerce. This is an e-commerce website for educational purpose. In this video, I'm going to tell you about the Maven archetype. So Maven archetype is basically a template that we can use for creating a new project. I have already created one seller detail project. In seller detail project, I have covered the seller onboarding and I'll try to create some videos also out of that. But in today's video, the scope is to create a new project from the Maven archetype. There are a couple of things. There are 4 or 5 things that I want to tell you about that. Then I will go into actual demo. So let me close everything for now. And now this is a parent-pom. So why I've chosen, this is the first point, the parent-pom. So why I have chosen the parent-pom? Because parent-pom is something which can control the common place from where your dependency, your versioning, your even archetype, all of these things can be uh, you can say transfer, or you can say can be used as a parent structure or a root structure for the other dependent projects that you are going to build in the future. Also in this way, company, there are a lot of projects and companies can adhere to one proper structure when building any specific kind of project or a project in a specific structure. So I'm going to show you this pom.xml. This pom.xml is for educommerce parent. So the parent is the Spring Boot. So here I have declared all the common dependencies. For example, is Spring Starter Web, Lombok, Mapstruct, and all those things, and some plugins. For example, Maven compiler plugin, Lombok, Mapstruct, right? I have commented out this for a reason. So these dependencies are going to be a part of the POM to any other Maven project whose parent is this. For example, this is a module, this is a multi-module project, this is archetype module. So this POM you can open from here also, this same POM. So this is parent is this. So all the plugins, all the dependencies will be a part of this POM. Any project, if I'm going to use this as a project of my Java project, then these will be inherently or transitively part of this project. This is first thing. Moving to second thing about this plugin. For example, this is the plugin Maven archetype plugin provided by Maven to create the new archetypes. So archetypes are nothing new in the Maven world. So if I'm going to create a new project, you can see this archetype. And if you do, maybe this question mark tells me something. No. Okay. So in the drop down, there are a lot of archetype. You can think it is a structure or a project structure that you want to start your Maven project with. Okay. So I am going to tell you about a custom Maven archetype project that we are going to build. So there is some special things or some important things that is required. For first is, I've already mentioned this plugin. So everything I'm going to run is from this panel, from this Maven panel that is provided by IntelliJ. So here you can see, if I go into EduCommerce parent and I open this module, I can see this inside the plugin, I can see the archetype. So this is provided by this plugin. So for example, if I make this comment out and I refresh it, this will be removed. So that is the use of this. So I just do it again, refresh it, it will come here. Yeah. So the one stage that I'm going to use is the archetype create from project. This stage is used to create a new archetype from the given project. For example, if I want to create a new archetype from this archetype module project, then I have to run this stage. Okay, so let me remove this target. Before running this stage, I'm going to tell you some files that I am using. Inside resources, I have pom.xml. This is the pom.xml that a new project is going to have. So when I'm going to create a new project, this is the POM of that particular project. For example, the parent is still the EduCommerce parent, and the group ID, artifact ID, and version I'm going to provide when I'm creating or running the generate stage. So this also, for example, if you see here, this is a generate stage. So this I'm going to run for the new project, and then the plugin is Spring Boot Maven plugin, because I want, for example, I want to create a product service as a next service in this whole series. So this, it's a Spring Boot Maven plugin project. So I want this Spring Boot Maven plugin project to be a part of that Maven project. Then comes metadata.xml. So if I go into src, you see we have this structure in src main resources, all the properties and YAML file. For example, these are empty for now, and then these are structure that I want to keep in my new project. I have included one git keep file so that it should not be all non-empty files are going to be a part of template. If I delete this git keep, then controller won't be created. Okay, so I have to add this git keep file as a part so that it would be generated. These two are the important files. Now I'm going to run this create from project. Let's see what happens. Okay, so now I have an archetype created. So if I go into target, this is a new target, and inside generated sources. So before going to the structure of generate sources, I want to show you this pom.xml. So if I go into pom.xml of archetype, so there are two things I mentioned. One is this plugin and one is the extension. I have used this extension. So why I have used this extension? This extension is required to suppose this type of packaging. So if I go into target and pom.xml, this is maven-archetype. In general, we use jar packaging, var packaging, pom packaging, but this is something internal packaging of the maven-archetype, and it is only supported if you declare this extension in your maven plugin. This is the third thing that I'm going to tell you. Fourth thing is the structure that is being created inside generated resource. So if I go into not into the target, into the src main resources, so again everything is here. Whatever I am going to create, for example this src main resources and archetype, the whole structure is there, right? So you can see the structure that is being created, all the projects with the git key file, and inside resources I have application file, and inside test I have some test files, and then application properties. So now I want this to be part of new project. Before that, I want to move it to m2 directory. For example, if I open m2 directory right now, so if I go to m2 repository, com, educommerce, nothing is here. Let me install it. So for this, I'm going to trigger the install stage. This will install that archetype into the maven repository. So if I go into this now archetype module, it's a normal archetype module with all the jar and pom. And here also, now I'm going to create a new project. For example, it's already created, so I will delete it. So if I go into educommerce, just for your clarity, there is no product service here. I'm going to create a new product service from this command. Let me break this command for you. This maven archetype generate is the command used to tell maven to create a new archetype. The first three, which is archetype group id, archetype artifact id, and archetype version, is for the one that I have moved here. This one, not this one, this one. So what exactly I have declared? I have declared the archetype group id as comedy commerce. I have declared archetype id as archetype module. This is the name. If you see, the name is archetype module. Then version is 1.0 snapshot. And this last three is for the new project. For example, I want to create a new product service whose group id is product, artifact id is product service, and version is 1.0.0 snapshot, and packaging is jar. So let me press enter and let's see what would happen. It's asking me if you want to keep the same package structure. I say yes, and now it's yes. So if I go into this and check my D folder, so this is a product service. Let me import product service here and see what exactly it has created. Oh, sorry. Okay, so inside product service, if you see, one pom is loaded. Inside pom, again the parent is this parent, pom commerce. Plugin is Spring Boot Maven plugin version 3.3.5, and the structure is controller gatekeeper. So now I can start with this project. I start writing my mappers, controllers, service, and whatnot. One last thing is a word about archetype hyphen catalog. So if I go into repository, there is a file archetype hyphen catalog. It keeps all the local catalogs that you are building. Okay, so if I just remove the content, I have to actually delete it. It is something inside maven to recreate it, and then I go into again maven stage and trigger this state, maven archetype update local catalog. So is just it is going to create a new file and just copy paste that archetype. So let's see. So yeah, here's 1 KB file. Yes, so this archetype is here. So yes, that's I want to show you in this video, and then see you in next video, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.